When I first heard about top-down fires, I thought it sounded silly, a fad, a fashion. They turned tradition on its head. But then I read the research from the United States, Australia, and Norway. Now I try and make as little smoke as possible with all my fires, and I really am trying to master the top-down fire. So today I wanted to talk about top-down fires. I've surrounded myself with the sort of wood I use because it needs more fire skill than just a traditional fire. Anyway, I'll show you what I've chosen and then we'll get started. Okay, first up is beech, my absolute favourite. Lovely big chunk of beech, very hard, slow burning, really good embers, not a bad smoke. Then I'm going to use a couple of bits of oak heartwood. This has been drying probably for nearly 2 years now, which it's a good thing with oak. These are the very hard ones which are going to go to the bottom of the fire. This I don't have much of, some bits of apple. Any of the fruit woods do, but apple I just happen to have, but plum, cherry, they're all good as well. And lastly, the sad story of English elm, all died with Dutch elm disease. But this, I've had a pair of these logs smoulder, burn slowly for 3.5 hours once, just incredible. These aren't quite of that quality, there's just the first bit of rot starting, but that's a dead elm log from a hedgerow. Now, next up, the layer which is going to be below the kindling, silver birch is sort of intermediate. I wouldn't put that on the bottom, it's not good enough, and it won't quite catch from the kindling, not quite. But anyway, silver birch is a middle layer if you've got the room for a middle layer. So above that, I've got some really dry spruce, very knotty old bits, so there'll be some resin, well, probably still be some resin in that. Very dry, very light, and these will catch from the kindling, so that's great. And the other thing, you can hear them. Oh God, that doesn't sound very good. Yeah, the other thing, my favourite, these little beech sticks. They are so useful, and these are dry, although that one doesn't sound like it. But they are dry and they're just used throughout. Oh, and last, I don't even know what I've done with it, but I've got some kindling. Before I start, I'm making up a few pine cone firelighters. A cone, some spruce resin and birch bark. These are my absolute favourite at the moment. Lovely little things. It's been my dream for a long time to live in a totally wood-heated cottage that's actually warm, no damp, no rats. And it's taken 3.5 years to build, but here I am. I moved in a few months ago. That Rayburn range is the absolute heart of the property. It does the cooking, domestic hot water, upstairs radiators, and best of all, underfloor heating. The range is about 11.7 kilowatt. Quite a big one. A mucky job. I've never managed to keep clean doing this. So, in goes the elm. Then some oak. The birch, followed by a few beech sticks. And now the spruce logs. Note the spruce are going in, cut surface facing upwards, the exact opposite of a traditional fire. and I followed that with a few more beech sticks. I'll be honest, I was a bit casual in the way I put my kindling sticks in, and I think the most important thing with a top-down fire is that it catches quickly, otherwise what's the point? My sticks should have been smaller, and I should have taken a little more care how I arranged them while I was making a nest for this little super cone. The super cones are hot, but they need to catch quickly, and this one nearly didn't. I also forgot to set the stove correctly. It should go from hot water to cook. I should have the baffle slider fully out and that flap closed. I've got the air vent on the front door fully open as well. So the cone's burning happily, but my kindling isn't catching. Beginner's error, really. But fingers crossed, and finally the kindling starts to catch. I leave the door open for a while so that I can watch the fire, otherwise forever opening and closing the door. Once I'm sure it's caught, I'll close the door. I think as we move into winter, I'm going to learn to really love this stove. But most of all, I'm going to really learn to love underfloor heating. Time comes when it's time to light the fire in the sitting room. A Clearview Vision 500. Get all your ingredients ready. I've got everything there for a top-down fire, all ready, and that will last all evening. So why am I bothering with all this? An old dog learning new tricks. Well, I feel times change. And although those of us who live with wood fires are using the most ancient fuel, I feel we must change too. If we master this new technique and burn locally sourced, responsibly harvested wood that's been well seasoned, and we burn that on a modern stove, we're doing all we can to use a most precious fuel in the most moral, responsible and environmentally sound way. All things that are important to me, and I think probably for many of us. I do feel that wood is a precious resource, and if we extract all the possible heat we can from a log, from the charcoal and by burning the smoke, then I don't know, I just feel that's great. We're behaving well, and of course it's also saving us effort and money, which shouldn't be forgotten in all this moral stuff. We are about 12 minutes since I lit it. It's going well, so I'll turn the air down a bit now. It still needs plenty of air, but it doesn't need to absolutely gush. I mean, I have a real fire now, and I want to manage it so it lasts me all evening. There are all the advantages, all the environmental advantages, oops, that's too much, of having a top-down fire, but funny enough, the main thing I like was something that surprised me, and that is you lay it carefully using lots of firecraft, and then 12-15 minutes later adjust the air. I shouldn't touch that again, and that should now last me the whole evening, so I can cook a meal, talk to friends, or read a good book.